All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Nutrition Challenge. I think we're going to be able to finish the seminar tonight in about 45 minutes. I doubt it's going to take that long. 30 minutes. We'll try to get it to 30 minutes. The main thing though is I want to get some opportunities for you to kind of interact a little bit, answer some questions, and make sure you guys get off to a great start. So welcome to the 2021 Nutrition Challenge. So I just have a couple of questions for you guys, and you can definitely unmute yourself if you want to try answering these. How many of you have done a nutrition challenge or a weight loss or a diet or something like that before? How many of you lost weight during the challenge? And, have you gained that back or more after the challenge? And I'll just kind of put those questions out there for you guys to kind of kick things off, get the juices flowing a little bit. And we know that, it's a struggle for a lot of folks. In fact, 2/3 of the people who do a diet or a challenge will gain back that weight that they lost plus more. But don't worry, because we're not going to let this happen to you guys. The nutrition challenge that we're going to do is a great way to kickstart your journey with your health and wellness goals. But after the challenge, we're going to offer continued coaching to you guys too, so that we can help keep you on track. Plus, we also focus on lifestyle changes and habits that you're going to learn and that you're going to start to cement in those kinds of habits so that you can continue to stay on track and you'll be able to continue with making your progress on that. So got some folks joining in on us, so that's good. Let's go to our next slide and kick things off. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we have teamed up with Healthy Steps Nutrition and Nicole Acoin, and they believe that something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. And if you've ever gone to try to figure out what should I be doing with my nutrition, it can get really complicated because there's so many different voices that are out there. So we're going to help you to focus on the simple habit, a habit-based approach, and one step at a time, and really help us to make real progress on our overall health and nutrition. So we're going to be utilizing a holistic approach to help you to reach your goals. And we're here to support you in all aspects of your life, not only in the nutrition, but also in fitness and things like that. So lean on your coaches during this time so that you can get the most out of this challenge. Let me double check to see if I get anyone else in the waiting room. I think we're good. All right, super. So let's go to just looking at our objectives. So when we look at this challenge, our objectives are, number one, especially with a seminar too, is to help you to understand how to set yourself up for success during the challenge and to find out what you need to start with first, right? There's a lot of different things that we could maybe pursue, but we want to help you find out what's the most important thing that you need to start with, and then to learn how to utilize some of the tools and the support that you have on this 4-week journey. To start things off, we're going to just ask you to kind of do a self-assessment and to think about and answer these kinds of questions. So for you, what does success look like to you? Okay, so you can define that any way that you want to. You can picture it. You can try to come up with the words about what it might look like for you. Also, what's worked well for you in the past? What do you struggle with the most? And what maybe has kept you from seeing the kinds of results that you might have been looking for in the past? And this kind of self-assessment and self-awareness can be really helpful, because when we get into actually working day by day and week by week through this next 4 weeks, the answers to those kinds of questions are going to be really helpful in customizing the experience for you so that you can get the most out of it. So you've all probably set SMART goals. When we look at goal setting, I know that you've already maybe set some goals before, but we're going to start with this. When you sit down with your nutrition coach, you're going to have an opportunity to put those down on paper, what your goals are. And when you think about what your goals, I want you to think about SMART goals that are specific, measurable, things that you can actually attain. They're somewhat realistic, and put a time around those. But the more importantly, though, it's very important to understand and think about your why and why those goals are so important to you. And your goal may be, to lose some weight or to gain some muscle or, to whatever it is, to fit into some specific clothing item or something like that. Mine is to wear a swimsuit at the pool. But why is that important? Will it make you happier, or is it more confident? The why behind your goal is so important to determine and keep in mind during this challenge and on your health and wellness journey. So if you spend a little bit of time, not only just writing down your goal, but also trying to identify why, what's the why behind it. So let's talk about the basics of healthy habits, because the habits are going to be the building blocks that we're going to be able to actually make progress on and actually see progress over time. So what we want to do is really only focus on one thing at a time. And we're going to nail that one thing. And then we're going to add something else to the plate. So we're going to layer in these habits onto something that you already do, right? So layer your new habits onto something you're already doing. For example, instead of like taking away all the stuff that we, maybe rely on or we like to eat and those kinds of things, instead of taking things away, we're going to try adding something in, maybe adding in some veggies. So we're going to be building on your successes throughout the challenge. And some things to remember, just to kind of help structure it, some things that we can maybe use as basic building blocks here are maybe choosing real food over food products, maybe cleaning out the pantry, thinking about progress over perfection, right? We're not really going for perfection. We're just looking for some progress over this next 4 weeks. We're looking at food labels, for example, understanding, what it is that we're actually eating and putting into our bodies. And we're doing some simple things like following the plate method and trying to be consistent on that. So when we look at the plate method, this is one of the easiest and most effective methods for improving our diet. There's some talk in the gym about some folks on the last challenge. They started to track their meals. They started to count their macros, the amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fat that they're eating. And it actually turns out that if you follow the plate method, you're going to get a really good balance of your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fat. So it's a nice way for improving your diet by eating a balanced meal of high quality foods. And it's a great rule of thumb when eating out. The restaurants are starting to open up again, or whipping up a quick meal at home. So here's how you do it. You basically take your plate, divide it in half, and half of your plate, you want to put those non-starchy veggies in there. And then a quarter of your plate is going to be your lean protein, your salmon or your chicken or your, could be your ribeye steak. I don't know. And then the other quarter of your plate is going to be your starch. Then you can add in a healthy plant-based source of fat. Lots of ideas for that, like olive oil or avocado or almonds and things like that. So here's some pro tips for eating your plate. Eat your non-starchy veggies first. Dig into those veggies, get those taken care of. Then move on to your protein. Last, eat your starch. And then if you're still hungry, go back for some more starchy veggies. And what that's going to do is it's going to prioritize those healthy carbohydrates. It's going to cut down on the overall starches, and you're going to get a good balance overall. So let's take a look at our protein. Protein provides us with all those important amino acids, which are going to be the key to building muscle and recovery. How many folks have been sore after a workout and maybe not seeing those muscle gains, right? So we want to make sure we're getting a good balance of our protein in our diet, so that we can not only recover and build muscle, but also to stay full and to feel more satisfied with the meal that we just ate. And when it comes to protein sources, we want you to focus on including lean proteins with your meals, like chicken breast, turkey, and egg whites, or fish. Now, if anybody here has, you're either a vegan or vegetarian, we've got options for that as well. Just let your coach know and they'll work with you on that. So you just got to watch out for some of the high fat protein sources. I mentioned ribeye steaks. That's probably one that's going to have higher fat. But if you get a good cut of, good quality whole food, then you're going to be doing okay with that. On average, your protein is going to provide about 4 calories per gram and should compose about 30% of your daily calorie intake. So if you're following the plate method, it's going to become very close to that. And just note that each individual, your protein needs may vary. And working on and focusing on your nutrition during this 4 weeks and working with your nutrition coach can really help you to dial in your specific needs. So here's just food options for different protein sources. And we like the ones that are in green, and choose the ones that are in yellow in moderation, and then try to limit the ones that are more fatty. So you'll find this in your challenge handbook. And just before the meeting, I sent out an email to everybody. If you didn't get that email, or maybe you haven't registered just yet, you probably wouldn't have received the email. We have a handbook, which is going to have all the information we're talking about now, plus so much more. So if you haven't gotten that, reach out to me and I'll make sure I get that to you. So lots of ideas there for proteins. I love this picture here that they put in for carbohydrates, because when I talk to folks and we talk about carbs, these are the carbs that we come to mind, our croissant, bread, pasta, bagels, donuts. It actually turns out that carbohydrates is an important macronutrient. But it gets a really bad rap, and it gets a bad rap because of these kinds of foods that are there. So many foods fit under the carbohydrate umbrella. For example, fruit and sugar and bread, pasta, grains, and even starchy veggies like sweet potatoes and butternut squash. So carbohydrates break down into glucose, which your body loves as its preferred source of food. And our bodies require carbohydrates daily to fuel our brain. So carbohydrates will be providing about 4 calories per gram, and you should aim for about 30 to 40% of your daily calorie intake to be comprised of carbohydrates. But please note that everyone's going to be a little individual on that. And like I said, we'll be tweaking it as we go. If you ever used like MyFitnessPal or anything kind of out there in the just out in the market, you'll find that it tends to be very high on the carb side. So it's MyFitnessPal by default will say that you should be eat about 50% of your calories from carbohydrates, which is a little on the high side. All right, let's see some carbs here. We love the greens, the low glycemic. That means it's not going to spike your blood sugar. And the yellow, which you see a lot of things on there that hopefully we're going to be seeing in plenty coming into the spring this year. So we're looking forward to some good fruits and veggies. And a great way to get a lot of those is going to be some farmers markets later this year. But of course, you'll find a lot of these things in the produce section of the grocery store. So carbohydrates are going to fall into two big categories, the starchy carbs and the non-starchy or volume carbs. So if you think about something like broccoli or it's going to be it's not going to be it's not going to give you a lot of calories for sure. It's going to be more of a volume carb. You're going to get a lot of good fiber too from your overall non-starchy veggies. Starchy carbs are also really good too, and you'll see a lot of them in there, like our acorn squash and so on. And there's a lot of great vitamins and minerals you're going to get by eating the rainbow here. Healthy fats. Hey, if you are like me, you grew up in the 80s, and in the 80s, the United States basically started really vilifying fat. And so fat was bad. Fat would make you fat. And the consequence of that was we ate a lot of Pop-Tarts and breakfast cereal and stuff like that. It actually turned out that we were doing ourselves a big disservice because healthy fats are, they don't make you fat. They actually help you to stay fuller longer and absorb the important fat-soluble vitamins. We all need vitamins. However, fat is the most calorie dense, so you are going to get more calories, 9 calories for every gram of fat, compared to 4 for carbohydrates and protein. So a little bit goes a long way, but we want to choose the ones that are going to be the plant-based sources of fat when we can, like avocado and olive oil. When we're going to aim to get our fats to comprise about 30 to 40% of our daily intake. And chances are this is probably maybe an area that's going to be challenging for some folks. You may not be getting enough. You may find that your diet has a lot of carbohydrates in, which is that ready source of fuel, and not enough of the healthy fats. And just to kind of help with that, and I'll plug right now, you also are getting a meal plan. We'll maybe talk about that in a little bit, but that meal plan is going to give you lots of meal ideas where they're already balanced for you. So you're going to get those balance of the healthy fats and the healthy proteins and healthy carbs. So let's go to the next slide. So you can see all the healthy fats. And there's more than just the 2 or 3 I already just kind of tossed out there. Lots of nuts and seeds and olive oils and oils and stuff like that are very good. All right. So what we're going to take a look at next is the Healthy Steps Nutrition app. I should have grabbed my phone. When you join the challenge, I've added you to the Healthy Steps Nutrition app, and the app provides a way for you to interact with your nutrition coach, post pictures, ask questions, comment on other people's posts. You also have a private messaging with your coach, and it's going to help you to track your overall progress as well. And your coach, when you sit down with them for your initial meeting, will help to make sure that you have it set up. If you're having any trouble with that, you will receive an email, which will help you to set up your login and get started with that. The other thing that the app will provide, and this is probably where there's a lot of value, is there's a whole series of videos that Nicole Acoin put together to help us to have that focus. And they're not terribly long videos, 4 or 5 minutes maybe. And if you get into your daily practice of watching these videos, you're going to learn a good bit, and she's going to help cut through all the confusion that's out there in the nutrition and help to point you in the right direction. Also, your coach is going to establish your goals, your action steps, and also some daily habits. And they're going to pick out daily habits that are going to be specifically tailored for you based on your goals and the things that you find challenging that are going to be most helpful. And those daily habits are going to be tracked inside of this app as well. So you'll be able to go in there and check those off. throughout the challenge. All right, let's see what else we got. There we go. So that's an example of the videos. So you'll go into the app and you'll be able to see, for example, tips for eating whole foods or the role of meal plans and so on. So Nicole's always super happy. She's always smiling, and it's a great way to start the day. Connecting the app to MyFitnessPal, we encourage everyone to track your meals on MyFitnessPal. It's only 4 weeks. And if you do that, you're going to be accountable to the foods that you're choosing and that you're eating, and you're going to be more mindful. So you'll connect your MyFitnessPal app on your phone to your HSN app, and you'll make sure that everything is set up so that your nutrition will be visible to your nutrition coach. And that just helps. I mean, it's optional, but we recommend that if you are going to track your foods, you make that connection so that you and your nutrition coach can review your food logs and make sure you're getting enough calories and you're making good choices as far as protein, carbs, and fat. There are in your meal plan a lot of different recipes. Looks like I jumped 2 pages here. There we go. How do I know which HSN recipe to choose? So if you are logging your food on the app, you'll find that Nicole has entered all of those recipes into MyFitnessPal. So you just search for the Healthy Steps Nutrition official, and you'll find each and every one of the recipes. All those recipes are on our website, and they're also on the Healthy Steps Nutrition website. So if you're looking for new ideas and you want to stay on track with your nutrition, you can pick any of those and reach out to your coach, and they'll be happy to help you pick what you're going to have for dinner tonight. Let's see what else we got. Do I have to weigh my food? No, there's no need to buy a food scale or to weigh out the portions when you have your plate and your hands. So we have some helpful hand portion size guides that are available. Your nutrition coach has those, or you can rely on the plate method. And your meal plan has some ranges of food in it as well, so that you can really get a good idea. So for example, when you're looking at 4 ounces of chicken or 4 ounces of salmon or something like that, that's usually about the size of a deck of cards. You make it bigger deck of cards, it's going to be more towards 6 ounces. So you can use your hands too, like 2 fists full of non-starchy vegetables is a good serving size. 1 or 2 palms of protein, depending on whether you're trying to get more grams of protein or less. You can use these different ways to kind of really size it up. And I don't currently weigh my food. I've done it on some challenges, and what I found was that it was really matching up with just filling up the plate with that plate method. So that's probably the easiest way to go. And again, your nutrition coach will have plenty of ideas as you can reach out to them, and they'll be helping you to make sure you're getting the right amount of food for you, as well as the right quantity, the right carbs, proteins, and fats. So I got another question for you guys. It was a question that's pretty popular. Do I have to eat the starchy carbs? Aren't carbs bad for you? So, ketogenic diets and folks have heard a lot about carbs being really bad for their diet. And so they try to cut out the carbohydrates completely. And contrary to belief, carbs aren't bad for you, but you want to choose the whole food sources of carbohydrates and stick with the lower glycemic options. So those are the ones that are lower in sugar, higher in fiber. And remember to eat your starchy carbohydrates last. So you basically work around the plate. So you're eating your non-starchy veggies, your volume, those first, and then you're working your way around. You're not eating the mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes first. like I do sometimes. The, get to talk with a lot of folks on nutrition and whatnot, and what folks are eating out there, especially like some of our younger clients, teens and things like that. And you'd be surprised how many Pop-Tarts and things that are out there that folks are grabbing and they're eating, because marketing is so good at putting these in the light of being, these are, great options and on the go, but you really can get into a lot of trouble with that. Can I eat a sandwich? I don't know. Let's see. Yes. If you love having a sandwich for lunch, then occasionally, then have it. Just make it a healthy part of your balanced meal. You can try by using whole grains, sprouted wheat bread. You use the whole grain sandwich flats, or to make it open face. You can pile on lots of veggies and things like that, stuff it up with all those good foods that you're going to be eating on the plan. You're going to add in your lean protein, load it up with your veggies, which I already mentioned. And then you can finish it off with some avocado or some hummus to get your healthy fats. And you can always utilize the plate method to incorporate your favorite recipes or foods. That way, kind of sizing it up and looking at it. Is it just a bunch of rice or bread, or am I really getting a good balance across? So a lot of basic common sense kind of a thing on that. Are there any snack bars that I can have? You can get into a lot of trouble with snack bars for sure, because sometimes they're just kind of candy bars. But when you're choosing a snack bar, what you want to do is to make sure that it's balanced. So you can take a look at the nutritional information. That would be step number one. And see that you're getting some protein, some carbohydrates, and some fat. And you'll get a pretty good idea about, you want to see a nice balance across those, not just something that's just high carbohydrates and high fat. You want to make sure you're getting some protein in there as well. So a lot of snack bars are marketed as being healthy or have limited ingredients, but they're high in carbohydrates and they're low in protein. So it's essentially just a candy bar. And so make sure that you're reading the label and understand what's in that bar. So sample meal plans. So when in the email I sent out, or when you join in and register, I'll send you an email that has your meal plan and some other information in it. And in your meal plan, one of the questions I get sometimes is, do I need to eat exactly, day for day, meal for meal, or can I pick and choose what I like from the other days? And so the answer is, yeah, you can. The meal plan isn't that strict, right? So you don't need to follow it exactly. The meal plans are meant to be inspiration and to show you what a balanced meal and snacks are going to look like. And you want to pick and choose the recipes that look good to you, eat the foods that you like. You use the resources that are in your challenge handbook, pick some staples, choose a few recipes, either the ones that are in the meal plan or on the website, and create balanced meals on these things. We want to make it easy, right? So if it's too hard or too cumbersome, it's just not going to get done. So I've worked with clients where they've gone from where they're almost always eating out, Chinese food and, ordering pizzas and carry out and stuff like that. And when they're starting with the meal plan, we're just introducing one or maybe two meals in the week where we can start to take those small steps and start to move forward. We're not going to go in and try to get 100% compliance on the meal plan. And again, it's a great way to get some inspiration and some balance across some of the meals. So don't feel like you need to cook and eat everything on the meal plan. It's just there to show you some examples of balanced meals and healthy recipes. Do I have to eat it all? A lot of times when I work with folks on the challenge or individually for nutrition coaching, it just seems like there's a lot of food to eat. And we're not used to eating good whole food sometimes. And it can feel like there's a lot to eat. So do you have to eat it all? No. If you're feeling like the portions are too large, just try eating a smaller amount of the vegetables, protein, and starch. And again, eating the whole nutrient dense foods, they're going to make you feel more full. So if you need to get a meal or snack in, but you're not feeling hungry, just try having a smoothie. There's some ideas in there as well where you can get a smaller meal. The consistency is probably going to be the biggest thing that's going to help us out overall on our challenge. So we've got some weekly goals and a self-assessment that at the end of each week, you'll have an opportunity to assess how the week has gone. You'll be able to you'll be checking in with your coach as well. And that's going to provide the accountability during the challenge and the structure. So each week, you'll have weekly focus provided by those videos inside of the HSN app. You'll be interacting with your coach, and we'll have a review or weekly assessment that you can fill out each week to earn your points on this challenge and to build that engagement across, because we want it to be fun for everybody. And we're going to add some more nutrition seminars on Saturdays. So starting this Saturday at 1 p.m., I'll be talking for about 20 minutes on the topic of fueling for performance. So if you're looking at trying to answer the question, what should I be eating? How should I be eating so that I can improve my performance, my weightlifting, my endurance, and my CrossFit workouts and things like that, or just have more energy in life? You'll want to tune into that one. And all of these will be recorded as well so that you guys can watch them on when it's most convenient for you as well. And then week by week, we'll be covering more topics like building balanced meals, sugar and sweets, and boredom and stress eating. So we'll be covering those each week on Saturdays. And it's also a great opportunity to bring the group back together again so that you can support one another on this challenge. I think we'll have about somewhere between 8 and 12 members that will be participating in the challenge, and you know who you are, and we'll be getting out with all of you guys so that you'll be able to support one another, and you'll see each other inside of the HSN app and be able to comment on, and just like we do in SugarWOD. Progress, not perfection. So we're just pretty much there, almost ready to wrap this up. So we're going to start with the action steps let me talk about what your next step is going to be. Your next step, your coach is going to reach out to you and set up a time. The actual challenge is going to start on March 8th. So you have 4 full weeks starting on March 8th, but you can get started right now by starting to review your handbook, and your meal plan, start to think about some of the grocery shopping and meal prep, and then to start to reach out and start to work with your nutrition coach. And the first thing that they're going to do is to set up a time so that you and they can get together and get you started. Part of that initial meeting is going to establish some goals as well as the action steps and the habits that are going to be how you're going to customize this nutrition challenge specifically for you. So that brings me to a big thank you for joining me on this nutrition challenge kickoff. And if you have any questions, I'll hang on here as long as you want to answer as many questions that you may have. So I'm going to open it up to you. Thank you, guys. Oh, there's Matt.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey, guys.
All right,
so that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful of slides and stuff. So what kind of questions you guys got?
No questions.
No questions. Just wanted to say thanks.
No, this has been a lot of fun.
You said it so well. There was no questions.
Can you guys see the others that are on here? So we have Joy.
I see Keith.
The Pruitt family. I see Keith there. Clara, Matt and Jania, Bob. And there are several others that weren't able to make it to the kickoff meeting. So we'll be getting this recorded out to them as well.
Hey, I do have one question. The app, I might have missed. How do you sign into it?
Yeah, right. So if I did it right, earlier today, I filled in your name and email, and it would have generated an email to your inbox. Did you get that email?
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, no worries, right? So that email, sometimes it goes.
Would it have been coming from you, Bob, or from the app?
It might be coming from Healthy Steps Nutrition, or it might be coming from me.
Yeah, there it is.
I got it
right here. What is it?
Yeah, so
Healthy Steps Nutrition. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So everyone should be getting that unless you already have the account. And there's some instructions in there, which is going to let you create your email or your account and password. And then you'll have that app on your phone, and you're going to get all those videos. Those videos are going to start playing out for you on March 8th, so that we'll all be on the same page throughout. We'll all have that same focus. And in addition to that, you'll have your habits that your coach is going to design for you, and you'll get in-app notifications on that if you're need that little extra reminder to eat your veggies or get a good night's sleep or things like that.
Don't drink the bourbon.
Right. I can see where we're going with this.
I'm just kidding.
And what else? As long as it's good bourbon, I guess we're okay. Your nutrition coach will also establish your baseline at that initial meeting. So all of that comes together inside of the app. So your nutrition, your goals, your action steps, your habits, and all of that are all tracked in that app. So and the other thing that the app does too is that it creates a clear channel that's not filled up with noise, right? So if you're just focusing on your nutrition and you're using the app, then you and your coach can really have that conversation, and you don't have to kind of dig through your emails and your text messages and try to find out, okay, wait, I'm supposed to go to this meeting, I'm supposed to go over here and do all this, but you'll have that direct access and focus on that nutrition. So, and again, thank you guys for, kind of like deciding to do this, because we're going to put in all kinds of energy to support you on this 4 weeks to kind of get all of these good, healthy habits. Folks who have worked with me and worked with our coaches have, they've learned some things, and they're still doing those kinds of things today. And that's why they're kind of successful and moving along on that, because it's slow and steady over time and consistency that really adds up over time. You don't have to get 100% right on, the first couple of weeks. You get to practice, make mistakes, and kind of learn as you go.
Excellent.
Clara, do you have any questions out there? Joy or Keith?
I'm good, Bob.
Good.
Yep, I'm good, Bob. Thanks.
All right, super. See if Clara's got anything she wants to add.
I'm good as well. Thank you.
All right, Clara, super. And so the challenge is going to start on March 8th. So if I anticipate that there's going to be a few more folks in the gym who haven't signed up just yet, and they still have a couple of days to do that. And we'll have everybody registered by Sunday. The fact that you either already have registered or you've joined in on the seminar will get a head start on setting up that initial meeting with your nutrition coach and try to get 5 weeks out of this, so you guys can get started. We want you to get together with your nutrition coach really this week, if it's possible, so that we can get the things in your hands that you're going to need to get ready for this weekend. If you got some food you got to buy, and to start to, kind of build on that. What kinds of things? I probably should have started this at the beginning, but when somebody actually focuses on their nutrition, a lot of times people think that it's maybe just the weight loss or it's just this one thing. But if we go back to that why and why that goal is important to you, we find that gets better as well as other things in our life get better too, because we just feel like we're taking better care of ourselves. And that's really going to start with our nutrition, where, 85%, 80-85% of what we can actually, our results are going to depend on that nutrition. And good on you guys for taking that step. So if there aren't any more questions, I am going to close this out and let you guys get on with life. Thanks you so much.
See you guys. Thanks.
Bye-bye.